Hi, everybody. My name is Becky. Welcome back to the Rochester Local Podcast. I am here today with my very special guest, Tom Wiens. Hi, Tom.
Hello.
I don't call you Tom, do I?
No.
Never.
Never.
What do I call you?
Tommy.
And why? Why do I call you Tommy?
That's what I grew up with.
And who are you to me?
Your younger brother.
You're my baby brother.
That's it.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
We're keeping it in the family this year with Mike. You know, his visit was special. A couple of episodes ago, he was visiting from New Zealand, and I thought, oh, he's got to be on the podcast. And then I thought, actually, you were scheduled to be on the podcast before he was, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah, but we had to reschedule a couple of things. But I think that what you do and how you grew up is really neat, and what you do now is really cool. And I wanted to discuss that on the Rochester Local Podcast, as well as a couple of other things, all the questions that I usually ask people when they come on here. So are you ready?
I am.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
I am a maintenance technician for the City of Pine Island in the Public Works Department.
That is a really neat job. I find it so fascinating because it's not anything that I am familiar with in like the day to day, but you are maintaining infrastructure in the city.
Anywhere from a playground swing to ditches to sewers to storm sewers to, pretty much anything you can think of in a small town.
The poop drains.
The poop drains.
You take care of those too?
I have been known to take care of them, yes.
Do you do the pool?
Not dedicated, but I have been trained in on how to somewhat run the pool, yes.
Okay, so did you do swimming lessons there?
Not at the pool currently. The pool that was decommissioned and then rebuilt 3 or 4 years ago is where I did same place.
Same place that I did the swimming lessons. Yeah. Oh, see, I forgot that they decommissioned the pool and then rebuilt it, right?
Yep, ground up.
Were you working for the City of Pine Island when that happened?
No.
Oh, okay. So you've been there for 3 years now? Almost?
2021. March of 2021 is when I started.
So, yeah, 3 years.
Yep.
Okay, but so before we get into what else you do, tell us, obviously, where you live and then about your family.
I live in Pine Island. My wife and I moved there in 2016. I have a 6-year-old boy and a 2.5-year-old boy.
And we love them. Bo and Russell.
Yes.
Obviously are the best ever. They're little perfect, like
Spitfires.
Yeah, they are. That's true. But it's also as like watching them as they grow up. It is Bo looked exactly like Jen, just identical to Jen. And then as he's gotten older, he's like morphed into a mini you.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And Russell, he is pretty much Jen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have got red hair because you're the red hair kid in our family.
I am.
Right?
Yes. Unfortunately.
It's grown out a lot.
It has.
Because it used to be just like a pure red, just the ginger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is blowing my mind actually because I didn't know it was 2016 you moved to Pine Island?
Yep. We got married in 2015 and then we moved there the following fall.
That's just bananas.
Mm-hmm.
You also do something else for the City of Pine Island.
I do.
What is that?
I am part of the volunteer fire department.
I love this. I will never forget, we were driving down from the top of the Olympic Peninsula last summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you called us.
I did.
And you said you passed your test.
I did.
Right?
Yeah.
We all cheered as we were driving down the Olympic Peninsula in the state of Washington. And I confess that before you went through your process of becoming a volunteer firefighter, this is what I imagined a volunteer firefighter was. Okay, so the city says, hey, we need some people who are available and willing to respond to fire calls as needed. And you just kind of put your name on a list and away you went. That is actually not at all what a volunteer firefighter is. I think where I get tripped up is the fact that it's called volunteer,
Yep.
which is it's kind of it's misnamed.
It is, yeah.
A volunteer firefighter department is basically where a city doesn't have a dedicated fire department,
Mhm.
and so citizens can apply to train to
Yep.
become firefighters,
Yep.
and they have shifts that they are on call for,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So tell me about the process, like how you knew you wanted to be a volunteer firefighter, how long the process took, that kind of stuff.
It had been in my back of my mind for quite some time. It didn't really start becoming a thing until I started working for the city part time, I believe in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
There was a member on the department that worked for Public Works that was kind of brought it to my attention. It was kind of, encouraging me to apply to do that. And I kind of always use the excuse of, I worked in Rochester. I wasn't around, wasn't able to go to calls, didn't have the time, all this
Yeah.
other things. And then once I started working for the city is when I had heard that there was going to be an open enrollment again,
Mm-hmm.
or not open enrollment, but they were accepting applications. And then finally, I just decided just to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It was, definitely a lot of discussion with Jen and I on just the time commitment, and then obviously time away from them and the boys, and
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah.
So what was the training process like? So you were accepted into the program,
hmm
and then what happened?
So I believe I was accepted. It was around Thanksgiving of 2022.
22, yeah.
22. It started out fairly slow just
Yeah.
because I was around the holidays. We started EMR training in Zumbrota the first week of February.
EMR training is
Emergency medical responder.
okay.
So our department, you are not required to have EMT.
Okay.
EMR, there's 4 levels. EMR is the beginner, not beginner, but the first level of
Yeah.
emergency medical. Um, Went through that. That was a 6 week course, 2 nights a week,
Okay.
4 hours a night.
Yep.
Went through that, and ended up 6 weeks and came out of that with EMR certification. And then beginning, I believe it was April,
Mm-hmm.
it started our fire school. So that was 4 months, 2 nights a week, plus a handful of weekends
Mm-hmm.
is what went into that. That got you your Fire 1, Fire 2, and Hazmat certifications.
Okay. And then after that, then did you have to take another test then?
So we went through Riverland College out
Mm-hmm.
of Austin.
Yep.
We had to do tests through their college program. And then at the end of their program, we had to then take tests through the state of Minnesota.
Okay.
And then once you passed all 3 of those is when you became an active firefighter.
So I just have like when I started to have a more comprehensive understanding of what a volunteer firefighter was and everything that they did, I had like this, well, first of all, obviously immense pride. My younger brother is becoming this amazing firefighter. Um, but also just like a sense of gratefulness because you are choosing in your free time to do this. The department, they all have other jobs.
Yes.
And, for a bigger city like Rochester, there's a fire department and they are a firefighter.
hmm
That is what they do.
Yep.
And obviously it's much more busy in a big city, right? Um, but you all have separate jobs. And so you've said, I'm going to work a full-time job, but I'm also going to, dedicate myself to protecting the city in this way. And I think that I just had this profound sense of gratitude and like pride that people would choose to spend their free time in that way because it was a big commitment for you
hmm
to be away from your family for that long. Um, and I didn't know you take a salary.
We do.
Right.
So we do get it is an hourly wage. It's not something where if you were to quit your job and report to every single call in a month
Yeah.
that you can make a living off of
No.
it. There's no
Right.
way. It's a small reimbursement from the city to the members
Yep.
as kind of a
Thank you.
a thank you and kind of maybe a way to kind of like, keep them coming back.
Right.
It's, we do get, we train every Thursday nights.
Mhm.
We have a training,
Yep.
whether it be medical and or fire related.
Yep.
So we do get paid for our trainings as well. And then at the end of 20 years service, you can collect a pension.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's actually really amazing. And a lot of correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of volunteer firefighters who you go through the training with the city, which is, just like you said, going through Riverland. They'll be a volunteer firefighter for some time in a smaller community, but then will apply for other jobs in other cities and
Mhm.
become full-time firefighters.
Yep,
And that's fairly common.
it is.
Um, we can cut this part out if you want to.
Mhm.
But are you paid to do the training
The training for,
to become? Yeah.
yep, that is something that
See,
is compensated.
it's just amazing to me because um, it's an incredible way to not only serve your community but get paid to become trained in something that is highly sought after. There will never not be a need for a firefighter.
Mhm.
And so I'm just like I said, the more that I found out about what you do and what being a volunteer firefighter means, yeah, I loved hearing about it. And I thought that people may not know, since I didn't know exactly what went into being a volunteer firefighter. So,
Mhm.
how many shifts a month do you do?
So it's, as of right now, we do not. Well, I guess let me back up a little bit. During the summer months, we do on shift, or we have shifts over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So beginning part of summer, we kind of pass around a sheet and we sign up for whatever weekends we can.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually Friday night to Sunday evening.
Mm-hmm.
And you're expected to, report to any calls and
Yep.
stay in town. During the week, we generally do not have on calls unless there's a holiday that falls in the middle of the week.
Okay.
If there's a holiday, then we have people on standby for that.
Okay.
We have enough personnel where, generally speaking, during the day or night, we have enough people to respond.
Okay.
So
So, how many times? So, when you're on call, you get to stay at your house.
Mhm.
It's not like you report to a station or the government center or anything like that.
Yep.
You get to stay at your house, and you have a special system, a special app that's on your phone.
Yep.
And it emits a specific notification that bypasses all silence,
Yes, it does.
right?
Yep.
And so there's no way that you cannot hear this notification, right?
Typically not. No.
Time out. Pause. Because this brings up something about your youth that we must discuss. You, my brother, could not wake up
I could not.
as a child,
No.
as a teen.
Yep.
And there was a summer that I moved back home. I think it was maybe in between, I don't even know. I graduated from college. I was in between apartments. And I moved back home with you and mom and dad. And my bedroom was above yours. And you had something called a screaming meanie.
I did.
Can you tell me what a screaming meanie is?
I don't know what the original design was. It's an alarm clock. I don't know why they would make an alarm clock that loud, but they did. I forget how many decibels. It was ear piercing.
Yeah, I think it was made I believe, if I'm right, it was made for truck drivers who needed to be up and at 'em, and if their semi truck was idling and loud, that they would be able to hear it over the noise of their truck.
Yep.
And when I tell you this woke the neighborhood, I say no lies.
No.
Every morning. So I was not in high school. I did not have to wake up at whatever time in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock, who even the heck knows.
Yep.
But I did anyway. Confession, one of the reasons I moved out. Could not handle your screaming meanie.
I believe it.
That thing was like by your eardrum.
Yep.
I'm surprised you are not lacking in hearing.
I probably am, maybe a little bit.
So having kids changed all that,
Yeah.
right?
I'd say having kids was a big factor in it, yes. And then also maybe just growing up.
You're unflappable I
Yeah.
mean, it was like going in there and like I did it. Went down there to your room and was like, Thomas, Tommy, Tommy, not moving.
Mhm.
And it was real. You were dead asleep.
Yep.
So now you have this notification system, and
Mhm.
without fail, it wakes you up.
Yes.
Has there been times in the middle of the night that you've been woken up by it?
Many times, yes.
Many times, many
Yep.
times. So you do medical calls and fire calls as well.
Yep.
Would you say that it's more medical or more fire?
It's more medical.
More medical.
Yep.
And I'm certain that you've seen all sorts of things in your
Yep.
tenure. Well, on behalf of a person who grew up in a small town, thank you for your service.
Mhm.
And thank you for just choosing to spend your free time like that. It's really amazing. And I'm
Mhm.
very proud of you.
Thank you.
So, we're going to get into a couple of the questions that we usually ask on the podcast.
Mhm.
And, you know, we talked a lot about your job, so we won't ask too many of them. But
Mhm.
I do want to know, and you can choose to answer this one regarding fire or regarding your work with the city.
Mhm.
What makes you good at your job?
It might sound cliche, but I would say maybe probably dedication.
Mm-hmm.
If something gets put on my plate, I do not sit idle with it for very long,
Mm-hmm.
and I will break myself getting it done.
Indeed. You have always, always, always been like that. I remember growing up and then you'd get handed responsibilities and they would just immediately become your own. You would make them your own and you would get them done. You're one of those people where if you ask them to do something, you know you don't have to follow up, you don't have to check in, you're
Mhm.
gonna do it. And I bet your people love having you on staff, right?
At times, yes, I think they do. Other times, it might drive me a little nuts, but
Oh, I don't think
yeah.
so. So, okay, what is one of the weirdest, funniest things that you've seen at work? I'm throwing you for a loop because I did not put this one. I did not tell you I was going to ask it.
It's gonna sound really gross, but it's amazing what people will throw down the toilet.
Oh, no. Can you say what you found or not?
We found rubber ducks. We found earrings. We found.
You've dug through and found
I've
earrings?
not dug through, but when you rinse things down, you can see things.
Oh, sure.
We've changed cars. Also
Cars.
like
Toy cars.
little toy cars.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just people just flush weird stuff down the toilet.
Yes, they do.
People, do not flush weird stuff down your. All right, you and I grew up in Orinoco.
Mhm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you've actually never lived in the city of Rochester.
I have not.
No. So this is a little, different, but what are some of the big changes that you've seen kind of in the area since we've kind of grown up? And for everybody out there, we should probably mention you're 10 years younger than I am.
I am. I am the
So,
baby.
I mean, I've seen a couple of things that you haven't. Makes me sound very old and wizened when I say that.
Mhm.
I'm centuries older than you. But is there anything off the top of your head that's like, oh yeah, that's definitely changed?
Probably the biggest thing that'll stick out is around our dad's old shop,
Oh my gosh.
where he grew up and then where he ran his business.
Hmm.
The amount of housing that has popped up since we were kids, or I was,
Yeah.
going there checking trucks at night after kids club, making
Oh
sure
my
all the
gosh.
trucks are plugged in.
That
And
is,
then,
I mean, I think about that a lot, and I know people that live out in that area. So
Mhm.
we're actually talking about the area of 50th Avenue and 55th Street Northwest, where Holy Spirit Catholic Church is, Gibbs Elementary, Olmsted Medical Center, Northwest Clinic. At that four-way stop sign there, if you head north on 50th Avenue and you go underneath the Douglas Trail Bridge, which was not a bridge,
it was not.
there was nothing there.
It was a gravel road, wasn't it?
It was a gravel road.
It was.
You start to go up a hill,
Mhm.
a big hill. On the right-hand side, as you're going up this hill, is a brown building that is below an orange farmhouse. And that orange farmhouse was our grandparents growing up. And that brown building was our dad's, and he owned a trucking company.
Mhm.
And there was nothing. There was nothing.
There was
There was
nothing around it.
nothing out there. And I grew up riding horses out there. Our dad went to a one-room schoolhouse
Mhm.
on the Douglas Trail that he rode his horseshoe,
Yep.
Taffy the blind pony. So he literally rode his pony to school
Mhm.
where this sea of houses now is. It's wild.
Yep.
Every time I drive that road, which is not very often, sometimes I'll just drive it because
Yep.
it just kills me. Right?
It does,
It's
yeah.
so different.
Yep.
Oh, I'm glad that that's one of our, because I always think about that when I think about the changes in Rochester. All right. What are 2 things your friends would say about you?
Both I can't. Dedicate I've already used, so I can't use that one.
No, you can't.
Busy.
Busy. Yes. You're
Yeah.
a busy guy.
Busy. And then I would actually honestly maybe say outgoing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Really?
It drives Jen nuts, but I am our father's child, and I can strike up a conversation with just about
Anyone.
anybody.
It's true. Anyone. I love that because obviously I'm that way too.
Mhm.
And you're probably out of the 3 siblings, me, you, and Mike, might be one of the more what I would say quiet out of the 3 of us. Would you say that?
I definitely went through my phase of definitely being quiet. You had to pull words out, which I probably still do today. But then my job with the trucking company before I got my public works
Yeah.
job was what probably broke my shell and kind of almost pretty much forced me out of, not talking.
But quiet is not the same as like introverted, I would
No.
say. One thing about you that I think is you're just totally unflappable. Like you are calm pretty much 100% of the time. I don't know if I have ever seen you truly angry. That's not true. I take it back. I have. But even when you are angry, you're not loud about it.
Mhm.
You're pretty just like under the surface about it. And so I like that because there are no surprises. There's just steady Tommy. All right, let's see here. What's one thing you will always spend more money on? Right? Like maybe you get off-brand peanut butter. Maybe you get, I don't know, discount, whatever. What's something that you're like, gold standard, buying it every time?
Underwear.
Sorry. That's a good one. Do you get Duluth trading
Oh, yeah.
underwear? You do?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Good underwear. Right?
I had a pair last 8 years.
Stop.
I did.
You could be a commercial.
Yeah.
You should be a commercial. I'm going to submit you as a commercial.
Yeah.
Underwear, always gold standard.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense because you're out and you're doing like physically active stuff. You can't be sweaty.
Well, you can be, but then you want to make sure you get it away from you.
Wicking.
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 Yeah.
You need a good pair of wicking undies.
Exactly.
Okay, I love this. Thank you for sharing.
What's your go-to underwear?
Armachillos. Duluth Trading Armachillos.
Armachillos.
Yep.
There you
Oh,
go.
love
Now
that.
we need a sponsor. Duluth Trading
Right.
Company, call us.
If you're listening, call us.
Yeah.
Where do you go locally for a cup of coffee?
Drink coffee.
That was a trick question.
I know.
So you don't drink coffee,
I do not.
which is fine. What do you drink to give you a little pep in your step?
It's highly debatable, but I do drink energy drinks.
Jeez,
I know.
I hate it. What do you drink? What's your preferred energy drink?
Monster.
It's fine. I'm fine. But I swear they're not good for you.
Well, there's a lot of things that aren't good for you.
It's true. How many drink a day?
I try and limit it to one.
Be
That's-
truthful. How many do you drink a day?
Generally speaking, one.
Okay.
If we are busy or if we might have snow
Mm-hmm.
and things like that, it can stretch to 2 or 3.
Are you able to fall asleep at night?
Yes.
Does it ever give you
Well, yes and no. But yeah.
Does it ever give you heart palpitations?
Not that I've noticed, no.
No comment. No comment. But I'm going to get you off those energy drinks. Coffee,
I tried.
hot bean juice
I
is the
can't
way to
drink
go.
coffee's too hot. I run too hot already, and I don't drink iced.
Do you know what? I have started. I've gotten into a bad habit. I don't like hot coffee. I don't like piping hot coffee. It's too much for me. I prefer lukewarm coffee. And so AJ makes a coffee every morning because he's wonderful and lovely. And I pour myself a cup and I put 2 little ice cubes in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. You not like the taste or do you not like
Yep.
the temperature?
Taste and temperature.
What
But,
if you add lots and lots of creamer like mom?
well, then it's just drinking a bunch of sugar, which may as well just do that in
Energy
in
drink.
the energy drinks.
You make good points.
Yep.
I hate these
Energy
points that
drinks
you've
have
made.
no sugar.
True.
Okay, you're going to a movie and you have room to sneak in 3 snacks. What are they?
Circus peanuts, peach rings, orange slices.
Circus peanuts up top. We are a rare breed.
Yeah, everybody I've ever talked to says they hate them.
I know. What is it about them? Is it the texture or is it the taste?
I would say taste.
You would say taste?
It's a unique flavor.
I would say texture. There's just like, I don't know. There's something about it. So our cousin Karen,
Mhm.
and I'm going to test you. Our cousin Karen and I share a trait that we have convinced ourselves is genetic. We love banana flavor.
Yep.
I think it's genetic.
Yeah, anything banana flavored.
Banana runts, banana Laffy Taffy, banana popsicles, banana anything, right?
Yep.
I will actually go for it. Like someone's like, ooh, and I'm like, perfect, more for me.
Yep.
Like if they're like, here's peach, raspberry, cherry, grape, banana, I'm always going for banana.
Yep.
You too, right?
Absolutely.
I think Mike likes banana too.
Mhm.
Does he?
I think he does, yeah.
Mike, if you're listening, tell us if you like bananas. Banana flavor. AJ, weren't you saying that banana flavoring was like the original banana essence? Like how bananas used to taste?
The banana flavoring of like banana runts is the previous crop of bananas flavor that was wiped out by a blight, and now we have the Cavendish bananas as our unit crop of bananas that we eat.
The more you know.
I never would have known that, no.
A few moments later.
What is one random or eccentric fact about yourself?
I had 8 wisdom teeth.
I love this fact. It's literally bananas.
Yeah.
That you had 8 wisdom teeth.
Yeah.
Because that does not happen.
It's a thing. It's not a very common thing, but it is a thing.
So it made getting your wisdom teeth out hard, didn't it?
It did.
So you got dry sockets.
No, I did not.
You didn't?
Nope.
Did you get infections?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I thought you did.
I did not.
So how did you have to have multiple surgeries to get them out, or did they all come out at once?
Just one.
I remember when mom was like, so weirdly enough, your brother has 8 wisdom teeth. That's really weird.
Yeah.
Did you keep them?
No.
Did mom and dad, no, you didn't?
I don't know. I don't think so.
How old were you when you got them out?
Oh, I was probably middle school.
Yeah, they
No,
came.
I was high school.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yep, I was high school.
Yeah, mine came out in high school too. That is really weird though.
Mhm.
I usually tell like my dental hygienist, and I like to tell people that. So, what is the best burger in the area?
That's a good one. In Rochester.
Pine Island, wherever you get burgers.
It might sound cliche, but Newt's.
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 What's the burger that you're gonna get when you go there?
Juicy Lucy.
Always?
Usually, yep.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. I've got 2 burgers that I eat when I go to Newt's. One, the Marvin, classic.
Mhm.
One, off menu. You have to order it specifically.
Wow.
It is the peanut butter bacon burger.
Sounds
Best burger hands down.
Mhm.
And if have you ever had peanut butter on a burger?
I have.
Do you like?
It's a different consistency, but it's not bad.
I like it. It can't be like super sweet peanut butter. It just has to be like natural peanut butter.
Yep.
Try it the
I will.
next time. What do my kids call you?
Big sausage.
I think it's hilarious.
And I really don't remember how it became a thing.
I don't know how. I don't know either.
I don't. It just kind of.
But they call you
started
Big Sausage,
It started.
which is unrelated to what one of your nicknames was growing up.
Little Smoky.
Little Smoky.
Yep.
And okay, so there's a story about why you were called Little Smoky, right?
Yes.
So your last name, not mine anymore,
Mm-hmm.
is Wiens.
Yes.
Wiens. It sounds really similar to a word that was our dad's nickname.
Yes, it was.
Our dad's nickname was Wiener.
Yep.
For better or for worse, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a group of friends and he went fishing with them all the time, right?
Yep.
And you started going fishing too.
I did.
And so since he was a wiener, you were a little smoky.
It was.
I literally think that's the best nickname that anyone could ever have.
Now you're all grown up in Big Sausage.
Now
Yeah.
you're all grown up in Big Sausage,
I've
which
graduated.
is totally unrelated.
Yep.
My kids didn't know you were called Little Smoky, but now you're Big Sausage. I think it's the most hilarious, perfect thing ever. Okay, well, thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having
I
me.
appreciate you coming on so I could basically roast you the whole time.
No problem.
But what's a big sister for?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the Rochester Local Podcast. If you like what you hear and you want to listen to past episodes, please go to rochesterlocal.com/podcast.